So if you've been job hunting lately, you've probably seen it. AI skills required. But what does that even mean? Today, we're going to decode what bosses are actually asking for, and we're using a great deep dive from the Washington Post to guide us. Let's kick things off with this question from a job seeker, Taylor Tucker, because let's be real, right? This is what so many of us are thinking. I mean, if you've been out there looking for a job, this probably hits pretty close to home.
And the sense of what is going on is just perfectly captured in Taylor Tucker's story, which was reported by Danielle Abril over at the Washington Post.
Okay, so get this, and this is the really frustrating part. Taylor had already been using AI, for marketing ideas, for budgeting, even to polish up her resume. But the feedback she got just left her completely stumped. What exactly were they looking for? For anyone job hunting right now, it feels like trying to hit a target that just keeps moving.
And look, Taylor's story is not some one-off thing, not at all. It's really a snapshot of a massive trend that's just exploding. And the numbers, wow, the numbers really show how fast this is all happening. All right, so let's look at the data from Indeed. Just 2 years ago, only about 1.7% of job postings mentioned AI. Today, that's jumped to 2.9%. Now, I know what you're thinking. 2.9% doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to realize that's a huge leap in a super short amount of time.
And then you look over at LinkedIn, and it's even more dramatic. The mention of AI literacy skills has nearly tripled in just the last year. So yeah, this is no longer some little tech niche trend. This is a fundamental shift happening across the entire job market.
And this is maybe the most important part of the whole story. We're not just talking about jobs for software engineers. The biggest jumps are in roles you might not expect. Product managers, writers, even administrative assistants. AI has officially left the tech department and is showing up everywhere.
So all of this leads to the million-dollar question for anyone looking for a job right now. What do these bosses actually want? Well, here's the tricky part. There's no one-size-fits-all definition for AI fluency. It really seems like every company has a slightly different idea of what they're looking for. But we can kind of break it down into two main camps. On one side, you have companies that treat AI as a hard skill. They want to see specific things you've done, real concrete results. And then on the other side, you've got companies that see it more as a soft skill. It's all about your mindset, your curiosity, and how adaptable you are. A perfect example of that hard skill approach is the company Zapier. Their CEO actually made a chart like a ladder of proficiency. So for a marketer, being capable just means you can use AI to draft some social media posts. But to be transformative, well, that means you can build an AI chatbot that runs an entire campaign from start to finish. Big difference, right? But then you've got these huge companies like McKinsey, EY, and HubSpot, and they're squarely in that soft skill camp. For them, it's way more about finding people with the right attitude. McKinsey, for example, says adaptability is what's really important. And EY, I love this, they look for people who are comfortable failing forward towards success. Basically, they just want to know that you're willing to jump in, learn, and experiment. And that brings us to this really key idea, proactive experimentation. A company like Everlywell, the health tech firm, they don't expect you to walk in the door as a top expert. What they do want is to hear you talk about the tools you've been messing around with and how you think you could use them in their business in, say, the first 90 days. It's all about showing that you've got initiative. Okay, so we know what employers are looking for now, more or less. So the big question is, how do you get ready for this? Well, it really boils down to a pretty straightforward action plan. It really just comes down to 4 simple steps. First, you got to experiment and learn. Then, you have to make sure you're showing that off on your resume. And of course, you need to talk about it in your interviews. But honestly, the most important step, the one that holds it all together, is just embracing the mindset, that curiosity, that willingness to adapt. That's the real foundation here. And the consensus from leaders like Alicia Pittman over at Boston Consulting Group, it's really unavoidable. This is not a fad, it's not going away. Trying to fight it is just a losing battle. The only real way forward is to just dive in and start learning. Which brings us full circle right back to Taylor Tucker. After that whole experience with the Disney job, she didn't just get discouraged. No, she got busy. She's taking online courses now, and she's even planning to learn some basic coding. She gets it. The time to act is right now. And that's really the final takeaway here. This whole field is moving so incredibly fast that if you wait even a year, you could seriously be left behind. So really, the only question that matters is the one right there in front of you. What are you going to learn first?